This is part 1 in a series for As I See It for myfera.com. I'm Steve McKinnis. Today I'm speaking with Noel Cruz. Cruz specializes in repaints of dolls. A native of the Philippines, Noel was constantly drawing as a child, but for many years was detoured by his family's expectations. Now Cruz is becoming very well known for skills as an artist. You can see more of his work at ncruz.com. My first question?
How many repaints have you done?
Oh gosh.
How many?
Since 2001, I would say anywhere from 500 to
Wow.
700. Just because I was so giddy, I was just basking in the new prospect that time of being able to sell my artwork. Prior to that, I was what you would call a starving artist. I just did odd jobs here and there.
Right.
And just the prospect of being able to finally sell my art or have somebody want my art enough to buy it was just, it was such a rush, you know? It was like a drug. So I just started taking commissions left and right, but almost quickly, as soon as after that, I just got overwhelmed, you know?
With work?
Yeah, it was like, all I did was just, it was like clockwork. It was like I never stopped. It was like, and it wasn't even work that I wanted to do. It was just work I took because of the money, because of the compensation.
Right.
And so, and I realized that that wasn't what I was about really. It was more like what impassioned me as an artist was what mattered to me more. So now as much as I wanted to take more commissions, I try to be more selective. If I'm not too excited about the project, I've turned out a lot of projects. I wish I could just, there's like that on and off switch that I can turn nowadays, where I can just keep it on all the time. But as an artist, you're not like that.
No.
I mean, it's you have your days and you have your inspiration too. If somebody's asking you to, hey, can you make a repaint of my grandma, and you don't have any kind of association, you can't relate to somebody's grandma, so it's not as inspiring as making a famous celebrity that inspired you growing up. So it's all different. So
what was the most challenging repaint you've had to do to date? What really made you go, this isn't working, and then you finally got it?
A particular repaint, you mean?
Yeah, what was the most challenging or so far?
I would say that they're all the same. I think the challenge would probably just be in the amount of time it took. Because I knew eventually I would get it completed. It was just the details, I guess, with the hairstyle. But it wasn't about how do I recreate this person's face. It's so difficult. It's so challenging. No, it's for me, it's like my hands have a mind of its own. When I start working, I don't even analyze what I do. It's just my hands just know what to do instinctively. So I know eventually, it'll be finished. It's just a matter of time. It just depends on how complicated probably the hairstyle is, or what features, or if I have to do tattoos on the body and stuff like that. But every face is just the same to me. It's there's no, it's not too challenging for me to not be able to accomplish. So yeah, it's just a matter of time. And I take it as a challenge, and it's not something that scares me or frustrates me anymore, because I know my techniques already. I've gotten to the point that I'm not struggling with techniques of shading, because as an artist you go through all the motions of that when you're beginning.
Right.
You don't know what to do. You don't know what you're shading. You don't know what the relationship between light and shadow is, and you struggle with that. And so you're saying, why can't I get the nose right or the teeth right? There's something that looks off about the teeth or about the lips. That was at a point in my life like 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in 1978, when I just graduated from high school, I was like, this is really what I wanted to pursue full time. But my parents said, there's no money in art. There's no way you will ever have a future in art. You should just take accounting. You should be an accountant. So that's what I did. In the Philippines, what your parents told you was wisdom. It's what you followed. It's not like here where you follow your own pursuits, where you say I am my own person and this is what I want to do. I'm doing this for me. Not my mom or my dad or anybody else to tell me what to do. In the Philippines, it's a familial society where family matters more than anything else. Matters more than individual. So if your parents tell you should go this way, it'll be an outrage if you try to rebel that, if you try to fight it. So for me I did that. I studied accounting and I was just miserable because all I ever really wanted to do was create art, and I didn't. So I didn't, needless to say, I didn't finish the course. And I came here and I said I wanted to go back to school, and I went to Cal State and took up communications, which is an artistic field,
right?
Where I can also pursue art, and I was just in a bliss. I loved it. It was like the best time of my life going back to school, because I did what I really wanted to do all along.
Right. So you sort of came full circle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You started because you were doodling and drawing when you were young.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the whole. I think it was the Miss Universe when it came to the Philippines that inspired me.
And yet, the story's true. You literally saw the show through a neighbor's window.
Yes.
You weren't in the room watching.
We didn't
you were
have
outside.
a TV of our own.
Okay.
That was how poor we were. And I was living with my aunt. And my aunt didn't have a TV, and our next door neighbor, which was like, from here to that house next door, so they only had a tiny TV, so I was basically struggling just to look and to really see what was going on.
Uh-huh.
But that whole thing just inspired a whole, series of imaginations in my head. I was like, I wanted to do faces. And I've never seen in my life, a whole range of exotic-looking females.
Yes.
Because this is Miss Universe. You see a whole range of different kinds of beauties.
Right, every ethnicity.
And that was fascinating to me, and that started my journey to doing portrait art. And I never stopped doing it since. And then 2 years after that, the Bionic Woman show came on, and Lindsay was my new favorite. She was my new. She was my new muse,
right,
so to speak. So all I did for that whole time when her show was on was just drew her face. I was like just fixated on her. There was just something about the way she moved, the way she spoke, the way she acted. It was just everything. I just fell in love with her.